Alright, hello YouTube. Here's what we're looking at today. This is all of the trim off of a Deluxe bus, 15 window. It's in some of my other videos right here. What we're going to do is take this trim in its current condition, which is fairly rough, some pieces worse than others, and we're going to go through, polish it up, clean it up, because buying new trim is very expensive. Expect if you're going to buy the trim aftermarket or repop stuff, figure anywhere from $600 to $800 for the good trim. You can get it cheaper, but that's what it is. It is cheaper trim, and it's going to end up looking cheap. You get what you pay for. This is OEM trim. I believe it's salvageable and savable. Actually, as a matter of fact, I know it is because I've done a couple pieces already. As you can see, she comes back to life. Now this doesn't have a final polish on it. It's kind of a glare. But obviously a glare is a good thing. But it came back to life. Now the center is a little rough, but that gets filled in with a piece of rubber trim that covers that up and covers the screw holes. So we're going to make that look like this, theoretically. That there is a piece of the nose. Turned out pretty good. It took a bang in the nose, so we're going to have to do a little tapping and beating on our little mini animal here. You can see. And it's kind of distorted. It's kind of bent. Trying to get you a good picture of that. And you can see how that lip is bent over. Looking down at it, took a hit right in the center of the nose, bent this in. So we're going to do a little tapping and manipulation of this to get it as good as we can. We should be able to get it back. It also took a hit up here too. You can see that dent. That was a pretty good one. That hit there made putting the nose on a pain in the ass. Took a lot of pulling and tugging and bending. It goes back into shape over that little dinger there. But it did its damage. So we're going to beat that back into submission. I'll set you up on the tripod. I will try to take close-ups as we go, but we'll see how it goes. We're going to wing it through this. So basically what I have is my ball door grinder with 3M discs on this side. A little more gentle buffing wheel there. And I got my soft cloth wheel and a jet extended arm buffer. And then what I will majority be using is this wheel. It's a tighter knit, firmer. And we'll go through that. So how this will work is I will start and I will do the initial clean with this quickly because this will leave scratches. And then I will sand it with 150, 220, and then maybe 400 by hand. And then I'll go to this wheel and I'll use the black compound, black oxide, whatever it's called. This is for steel, not aluminum like this material is, but I like this stuff because it takes out the fine scratches and also blends any pits. You just got to be careful with it because you can round off edges and whatnot because is a lot of friction, and this does take off materials. It cuts in it pretty good. So then after that, I'll use the brown. This is brown, looks black, but it's brown. And I will do another buff over the top of that to get even finer scratches. And then finish it off with this, which is the white. And then after that, even hand sand or hand polish it. Those in there haven't been hand polished. I usually use an Eagle One product called Never Dull. It's like cotton candy. There used to be one called Wizards, which was really good. But as for a final buff, it is very, very good because it takes out the minute scratches, polishes it, and the polish maintains on the aluminum and gets into the pores. It's just a bear to buff that stuff off by hand. But the more you buff it, the brighter it gets. As a final polish only, I wouldn't recommend going directly to that because there's no way this stuff will come back. There's too much oxidation on the aluminum, and we have to pretty much start from scratch. So I'll set you up on the tripod there, and hopefully this will work out. What I'm doing is I'm hitting in this channel in order to bring this side back up. If you notice, it is coming up. And then if this has to go down, I'll hit in this channel, and then I'll try to make this as smooth as possible. And trying to contour this close enough, because when I sand it, I can sand in that contour in order to make it look better. It'll never look perfect. I am no master at doing this, but I'm also not willing to pay the $600-800 for new trim. This may be a goofy piece of advice, but I hit the hammer with my finger on it like this for accuracy, and I hit it and I try to drive through it with a follow through, and not like I was hammering in a nail, but hit it solid to push the metal to where I want it to go. The accuracy of my finger, I do not want to hit this channel here, because that's where that rubber piece goes in, and if you crush that, you've got to fix it by either using a pick or something to open that channel back up. So you want to be pretty accurate when you're hitting in here. You do not want to hit this channel. I need to hit in the center here to flatten that, and then in this channel to bring it back up. And then I'll use just basic hammer and dolly like skills to try to bring this to as smooth as possible. Once I get it close, then I'll go to the front of the bus and I'll fit it and make sure that the contours are right. Assuming the contours are right, I mean, I can manually bend it to fit tight in there again on the new nose. So I'm thinking that looks pretty good. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean off this. Somewhere in the past they sprayed primer on it. I want to get it down to bare aluminum before I start hand sanding it. So I'm going to go to the SOS wheel, or the there's a pretty nasty pit there. Okay, onto the wheel. So here's what we got. Actually, if you were going with a machined look, you could probably do that, and it gives it a pretty cool machine look, dull finish. But she needs a lot of work. There's still some work up here and down at the bottom also. We're going to try sanding a lot of that out. But first, I'm going to go to the front of the bus and fit it. So, I'll be right back. Alright, here's what we got. After a little more hammer and dolly, or hammer and anvil, and then another hit on the wheel. You can see these are getting less and less noticeable, less and less deep, because I'm trying to pound the aluminum from here to push it out here. So push in here and stretch the aluminum this way to try pushing these dings back out. Now there's no way I'm going to get them all the way out, but if I can get them close enough, when it's polished and shiny, this will blend. And here's these. You can see how bad. Alright YouTube, we're back. It is the next day. My battery ran dead, so we are now restarting. We'll recap. This is where we left off. You can see there's still some dings, dents, sanded down. It's going to require a lot more sanding, but we did the hammer and dolly to get her somewhat back into shape. You can see what we're going to do now is, before we sand anymore, I want to fix this hole. Again, the screw hole is supposed to be here, but I guess with the front end accident, that wouldn't hold it, so they drilled a hole right in the trim itself. So we're going to try to TIG weld that shut, and we'll go through everything it takes to do that. I start by grinding the aluminum clean. Alright, we'll see how that works. Now I don't know what alloy this aluminum is. I'm hoping it's in the 6 series, 60, 61, something along that line. I'm not sure, but we'll see how it welds. Now what we're using is Lincoln Square Wave 175. I have it set at 150, and it's on DC positive right now, but I'll show you why. Tip is sharp, as if you were going to TIG steel. With aluminum, you have to dissipate the heat to a wider area. So what I'll do is I will tap it for 1 to 2 seconds on DC, which will burn the tungsten and then form like a small ball at the end of this. That would dissipate the heat. I'll show you that real quick, and then I'll show you what that ball looks like. See if this can focus in. But now you can see that little ball at the end. See that? But it just took 1-2 seconds. It zapped that. I have it out about a 1/4 inch, which is it's out about a 1/4 inch, which is fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'll switch the welder to AC. And when I do this, I want to push the pedal to where the aluminum starts to form the puddle before I add any filler. And once it forms a puddle, I'll tap the filler in and try to move that puddle into the hole and then around the hole in order to melt and fill the gap. So we'll see how this works out. Well, it's not working out that smooth, but you can see I got to hit it a little more right at the bottom, but it's about filled up. I got to hit it just a touch more, and then that would be filled. Alright, that's what it looks sanded down. What I'm going to do now is I'll just set you up, let it run as I hand sand it and get it smooth, and then I'll give you little check-ins as we go. Alright, we're going to start sanding. A little more hammering too.
So cool if I had that stool.
This tool?
That'd be real fucking.
It's cooler if you got the fuck out of the way
So
of the camera.
fucking groovy. You're not filming that, are you? You are.
I am, dickbag.
Oh.
Now
Well,
you just made your debut. With
Well, that's a
big
boring fucking movie there, man.
Fast forward.
Yeah, right. Alright, I guess I can stand up and stuff.
This is one sanded with 150. You can see there's some pretty deep gouges. If I can't get them to shine out to my satisfaction, I'll have to fill those with weld. But where is it? Where'd the hole go? No! The hole was right here. There's just a little dimple there, but that's gonna polish once it's shiny. As you can see, no more hole. And then again, this was from the front end damage. Right here. But I'm gonna sand it now with a 280 and then a 400, and then I'm gonna hit the buffing wheel. Keep your jokes to yourself.